We are rearranging equations today. And this is the basic thing that you're doing. You're doing two things. One, you're putting a letter on one side of the equal sign. That's one thing you're doing. The second thing you're doing is putting a number on the other side of the equal sign. And what are you always doing when you're doing that? When you're putting something on one side to the other? So keep in mind that you're treating both sides equally to keep it balanced. But how do I get rid of like a positive 3? So you do the opposite. So, and another key idea is do the opposite. That means if you see something being multiplied, but you want to get rid of it, what should you do? Divide. If you see something being added, what do you do to get rid of it? Subtract it. If you see something being divided, but you want to get rid of it, what do? Multiply. So when I have a problem like this, what is your goal here? All right, what is your main goal again? No, what is putting a letter on one side? So you have to choose. There's a letter. Where do you want to put it? Do you want it to be on the left side or do you want it to be on the right side? Okay, we'll keep it on the left side. So your goal is this. X equals a number. I don't know what that number is, but that's what I want it to end up looking like. So how do we do that? Oh, so you're saying you're seeing an adding a 2, so you subtract 2. Is that what you're saying? So get rid of that 2. So we get rid of it. But how do we treat both sides? Equally. We treat both sides equally. So I'm going to have to subtract 2 over there as well. So I'm ending up with 3 times x equals 5. Now, do you have a letter on one side of the equal sign? Well, I do. Do I have the numbers on the other side? No. Well, I have a number, but I just want a letter. How many letters do I have here? Yeah, I have 3 of them. I don't want 3 of them. I want 1 of them. So since I'm multiplying by 3, the opposite is dividing by 3. So when I divide by 3, these guys go away, because what's 3 divided by 3? So those guys go away. But how do I treat both sides? Equally. So I'm going to have to divide this side by 3. And what's 5 divided by 3? Very good. 5 divided by 3. Just leave it like that. Or if you want to write as 1 2/3, you could do that as well. I want to put all the numbers on the other side. So put all numbers on the other side of the equal sign. What if you had this? ax plus b equals cx plus d. And I'm going to say for this one, solve for x. What does that mean when it says solve for x? All right, I want to find out what x equals. That's what I want. This is the letter I'm talking about. You say, Mr. Chohan, there's a whole bunch of letters. Yes, there are. But now you're going to have to treat them as numbers. If it's not an x, treat it as you would a number. So I'm going to ask you this. Are all the x's on one side of the equal sign? No. What do we have? An ax here and a cx there. But I want them all on one side. And let's say we want it on the left side. So I want to move this over here. How am I going to move that? I'm going to take away cx. So that goes away, doesn't it? But if I do that on that side, how do I keep it balanced? Do the same thing on this side. So now, when I look at this, this becomes a minus c x. So I'm going to show that right there. It's a minus c x. I'm going to use the distributive property as I subtract. So instead of writing ax minus cx and then pulling it out, I'm just going to look here. It just says a minus c. They both have an x. So I'll put the a minus c in parentheses, and they both have an x. What else do I have here? Plus b equals d. We don't need to write the positive d. All right. I got all my x's on one side, yes? Now I want to move everything else on the other side. I want to get rid of that b, because I want that gone. I just want it to say x. But again, if I'm going to take away b here and I need to treat both sides equally, what should I do here? Subtract b as well. So I'm left with a minus c times x equals d minus b. I have my x's on one side, but do I have everything else on the other side? No, I don't. What do I have over here? And what is that a minus c doing to the x? Multiplying. So how are you going to get rid of it then? You're going to have to divide by that. If you want, put parentheses there. These go away, and again, treat both sides equally. So your final answer is d minus b over a minus c. So the idea is, you see what's being done to the x, really, and you just do the opposite if you want to get rid of it. I might not say solve for x. I'm going to have this ax plus b equals cx plus d. And I might want to say solve for a. That means I want it to say a equals, correct?
Yeah.
And this makes it a little bit easier because how many a's are in the problem? Just one. So that might make it a little bit easier. So what do I need to get rid of in this case? I need to get rid of the x and the b. Which should I get rid of first? What is the easiest thing to get rid of first? Yeah, it's easier to take away a b, isn't it? So let's just take away that b. So I'm going to have to take away a b here. So I have ax equals cx plus d, and I have nothing to combine it with, so I'll just write d minus b. Now what do?
Get rid of x now.
I want to divide by the x because I want to get rid of it. So divide by x. But remember, you're dividing this whole side by x, yes? Mm-hmm. So that means you have to divide this whole side by x. So your final answer is cx plus d minus b over x. Now you could write it this way. I would write it this way because it's all one thing. Or you could do this. You'll notice I have an x here and I have an x here, yes? So I'm going to separate the x's and put them together. So it's like saying this. A equals cx over x plus, and everything else, d minus b. Put that over x. Yes, sir?
Why did you divide off x instead of just subtracting it?
Well, what is the x doing to the a?
Oh, multiplying.
So what's the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. Now looking here, what can I do with these x's? I can cross them out because x divided by x is 1, right? So I'm going to rewrite this up here. So that means a equals, all I'm left with there is a c plus, and then I can't do anything with this, so I'll just rewrite it as d minus b over x. So here I'm doing the same thing. I'm just getting rid of everything else that's not an a. Back here, you're adding b to that a, so you do the opposite, which is take away b. Here, you're multiplying a by x, so you divide by x. Yes?
Did you divide the x's over there in the beginning?
Divide the x's over here?
No, right there.
Here? You could, but I just wanted to separate it so everyone else can see that I'm taking this away. I'm kind of like doing the opposite of adding the fractions together. I'm just separating them. So I'm just putting the x's together and everything else separated, so that way I could say, oh, I can just cross those out. Got it? Because I can see someone doing this. Cross out these x's, I'm left with c plus d minus b. But that's not what the answer is. Because they say, well, I crossed it out. Well, yeah, but you can only cross out for these two. These guys still have that x. So separate them so that way you don't get confused that way. Okie dokes. If you'd like to learn how to transform formulas, please watch this video again. Or just watch this video over here, or my latest video, which is right over here. And don't forget to subscribe, because if you do, and click that bell, you get notifications every time I put a video out. Have a great day, and always keep on mathing.
Wait, isn't that your last video? Like this video right now is your latest video?